The African Continental Free Trade Area went into effect in January 2021 with an aim to expand trade and economic development within Africa by establishing a single market for products and services. A market of 1.2 billion people and a combined GDP of over $3 trillion are anticipated to be covered by this deal. Speaking at the symposium on how the youth can benefit from the Continental Free Trade Area, experts argue that the lack of adequate infrastructure to support cross-border trade could impede the movement of goods and services across the continent, making it difficult for businesses to capitalize on the trade pact's opportunities.
The CFTA provides a lot of potential to create jobs, to increase production, to increase also intra-Africa trade. But what's coming out also is that this potential has to be turned into a reality, and there are things which needs to be addressed. For example, the issue of infrastructure. Even if you have products here, you need to be able to transport them either by rail, either by air, either by road. And when you look at our connectivity, it still has challenges. Even when you look at just the East Africa, moving goods from Uganda to Kenya, because there is no railway line. So we need to address that.
But if we don't address some of the concerns of making sure that Africa is connected so that traders or exporters were able to actually move our goods from one African country to the other. If we don't do that, then we shall have, a market that is in place, but it is not benefiting us as, people who are supposed to be, getting much from it. So that is one of the challenges that we face as exporters, and which I think the African states should really focus on that and make sure that we address it. Then also the issue of insecurity. You find that some African countries, their politics are not stable.
CEO of Intemba Fresh continues to add some of the challenges he has experienced as an exporter of fresh organic products while he interacts with the market, highlighting lack of harmonization of standards as one of the bigger challenges.
We have unpatriotic people who compromise. A product is of raw quality, is of raw standard, but you again give it a certificate to cross to some other country. Yet the other country, they are very serious with what enters into their markets. And you find that they base on that to reject some of our products. But it is something that we also need to look at, and also engage farmers, because they are the ones who are producing these products. If we don't engage them in areas of what is required in the market and what is not required.
Given the disparities in economic growth across African nations, the Continental Free Trade Area also faces difficulties in putting up agreement into practice. While some nations have highly developed economies, others are still working to develop their economies and may not be able to successfully compete in a free trade zone area.
I think the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is a good opportunity and discussion. But I see the realities of it still lie in future because of so many constraints that we haven't fixed in the past and we are not about to fix them. When you look at the data, who are the biggest trading partners with Uganda globally? A little bit of India, a little bit of China, where we export, looking at where we send our goods. We're sending a lot of goods to United Arab Emirates, which is largely gold. Now that doesn't require the kind of heavy infrastructure to move around. You come to Africa, it's Kenya, it is South Sudan, Sudan North, which is now in war, it's the DRC, Rwanda, and a little bit of Tanzania.
Ask the Ministry of Agriculture to extend more services to the farmers who are producing these products so that they can guide them on how to produce a product that is demanded at the international market. Then also, for us to improve this African trade, we need to improve on the connectivity. If we talk of standard gauge railway that crosses from Kenya, goes to Uganda and Rwanda, let's all work in harmony so that if the project has already succeeded in Kenya, what is happening in Uganda why can't we also pick from where Kenya stopped and improve the railway so that people can be able to move? Then connecting flights within Africa, because you find that you have, for you to maybe go to like Angola, you may need fast flight to Brussels and then come back to Africa, which is a bit, tiresome and very expensive. So if we have these internal flights that can move products and all that, then it would be really very good for us to be able to carry out trade.
As certain trade pacts negotiated in the region such as EAC, COMESA and SADC still face some underlying difficulties, Fred Muhumuza highlights the exploitation of the low-hanging fruit as the ideal strategy rather than switching to a completely new pact.
The challenge seems to be more not on accessing the market, but rather production. Right now we have the price of rice increasing heavily because of the demand for rice in the region, not just in Uganda. Now I hear government officials are trying to propose that we can import rice tax-free. You're not going to solve the problem. Because you bring it in Uganda, it will be bought by the Sudanese, it will be bought by the DRC people. They are all shopping here. So why don't we focus on increasing our own production? Because the trade opportunities within the region are immense. Start with that low-hanging fruit, even as conversations on Africa Free Continental Trade Area continue.
Although the African Continental Free Trade Zone area has the potential to completely alter Africa's economic landscape, its viability and infrastructure will require considerable investments and legislative adjustments. If the trade agreement is effective, it may be very beneficial to African nations and aid in the growth of the whole continent. By the time it is completely implemented in 2035, the African Continental Free Trade Area is anticipated to significantly enhance Uganda's exports and imports. Uganda's overall exports could grow by up to $2.55 billion in the fiscal year of 2035, compared to their $4.15 billion pre-pandemic value in the fiscal year of 2020, while imports could rise roughly by $3.10 billion during that specific time. Ronah Nahabwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.